everyone, I'm Nikki from the design team, and today we are going to be looking at a fun project using embossing folders and wax seals. So we're going to step up those wax seals a little bit and add two different colors on them. We're going to be using the beautiful embossing folder and these wonderful Spellbinders cutting dies. So it's a pretty simple card, but the detail that we're going to put in is going to make this amazing. I'm going to be using the crimson wax beads and this cool oval Merry Christmas stamp. So this is the first time that I've had a wax seal that is an oval, and it's really quite fun. If you haven't done it yet, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe on the ScrapbookPal channel. All of the things I use will be linked in the description. I'm starting with this Honeybee Stamps silicone mat, the candle and the holder for your spoons. You do need, it's just easier to have two spoons if you're going to be doing two colors. And then I have this little stir stick over here. I'm going to go ahead and light my candle and we'll start heating up our spoons, and then we'll move from there. So once my spoon is heated up, I'm going to add 3 white wax beads, and I did that quickly, and then I'm going to grab this oval stamper. So we're going to start with the color that is going to be on top, and so we want our writing to stick up off the other seal. So I'm using a heat tool. You can lay it on the fire, but it gets more even heat by using the heat tool. And the reason you want it hot is because we're going to pour this wax on to fill in all of these crevices, and then we need to scrape it off, and we need to do a really good job scraping it off. And that's because wherever you leave this white wax, it's going to show up on our red seal. So I'm using a metal spatula and I'm scraping it off. Now, if you don't get this the first time, and I'm sure there's a way I could save that wax, but this is really my first kind of experiments with doing two colors. So just excuse me if you think I'm being wasteful with my wax. But I'm going to pour in if there's a little area that's missing, anything like that, and then I can reheat this and continue to add. So if, say, I missed the dot of the eye or a little part, I can use this, and as it starts getting hard to remove, see how that's a little bit harder because it's starting to dry, I can either add more wax or I can add more heat. So I'm going to continue to heat this up, add to little places, and then use these metal spatulas or palette knives to get this area off. So all you have to do, the only thing that gets hot on this is the metal. So just be careful with your fingers. And once I've scraped off, I go around the edges too, because I've got a little bit of wax around the edge, and that's going to touch when we seal with the red beads. So now I'm going to go ahead and add 3 red beads to my spoon, and I'm going to start that heating up. And you'll see I'm going to lay the stamp that I had. I laid it close to the fire because I wanted to keep it warm, not too warm, but just a little bit warm seems to work the best. And then I'm going to pour this in whatever shape I want to. So you've got a little bit of time to pour, and then you put your stamper down. Do not press, just set it in the wax and leave it there. Now, once it easily lifts off, you can just peel it off. Look at how cool that looks. It's got so much dimension. I ended up creating 3 of them. Now let's get the rest of our card ready so that we can display this amazing seal that we've made. I'm going to add some black soot distress oxide to a bright blue paper to get it that nice shadow type look where it's got a spotlight kind of in the middle and it goes to darker on the outer edges. So just doing this around a 4.25 by 5.5, which is an A2. Look at how beautiful that looks. Now, let's stick this through our machine and look at what the embossing folder does. It's like magic. I love all that texture. So now I have die cut the 2 holly leaves out, and I'm adding a little bit of that black soot around the edges of the leaves. And I'm using a smaller brush just so that I don't completely cover this in black soot. I will show you the difference in the two. So the one that has black soot, you can see that detail a little bit better. I really like how that looks. This is a quick tip. I cut out all the little holly berries and I'm adding them to a double-sided adhesive Post-it note. This trick can work with tape, anything that you need to hold those little bitty die cuts. I decided not to cut mine out of red because I had a Copic marker that matched that wax seal crimson a little bit better than I had of any type of cardstock, so I wanted to actually color these. So this to me is the easiest way to color little items and still get some dimension on them. I'm going to add 2 colors of red Copic markers to this, and I'm just going to color them directly on this sticky notepad. The first color that I used is R29, and I'm just trying to create some difference in the color, you know, just so that it's not a solid color. And then this R89 matches that crimson so nicely. So I'm going to color them in with R89. And of course, I'm going to add some white highlights and things like that to these berries so you don't have to worry about them too much. So the way to put these berries on is, for me, the easiest way was to look at the diagram that comes with the Spellbinders cutting dies, because the berries, they have them arranged. I mean, you can see where they fit on here, but it kind of helped me pick out which ones were small berries and which ones were larger, because there are 2 sizes of the berries. And then I just used some glue and some tweezers to assemble this completely. Okay, and here's how those look assembled. They're just beautiful. They'd be really great like on packaging for your Christmas packages. I just could see using these so many ways. So now I'm going to add some white highlights to these, because I feel like when you have such a dark card, because I've got the dark navy background, I've got dark green and red, you need something to kind of bring some contrast to your image. You could always put some vellum or something like that behind it, but I love adding these dots, and I don't have a great rhyme or reason. I pretty much go around each edge of the fun little holly, and I do like 1 little dot on each of my little holly berries, and it just kind of helps it show up on that background. So I just like doing it. One, you can cover a lot of coloring mistakes this way just by adding some highlights and drawing attention away from it, but also on those super dark backgrounds, it's a really great way to make things stand out. So I don't know if anybody else does this, but I generally go into a card with an idea of how it's going to look, but I like to set all my pieces out before gluing anything down and play with it. And I added my Merry Christmas seal, which I think would be perfectly fine to keep it this way, but I just kind of felt like it needed a little bit of something else, and that package idea kind of made me think, it's almost like a tied up little bow around these cute holly with that center seal. And that seal, I love that bright white. It just looks so beautiful. So I finished out the card that way. I hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure you go through the links below if you're looking at any of these products. And if you haven't done it yet, hit the like and subscribe. And I'd love to see you out there on social media. I'm Nikki from the design team. Have a great day. Bye. Check out these 2 videos for more fun.